Alright, guys. So, we got whatever part we're on, because none of them has been uploaded when by the time of me making this. But I digress. So, basically, we left off where Future Gohan and Future Trunks went their separate ways as they were in the time chamber to train. Hold up. So, Trunks wanting to impress his master, but, also him getting, some foresight of, hey, don't fuck this up, because it could easily happen to you, because it almost happened to me. Trunks would spend his, I want to say either his first 2 weeks, because I don't think it would take longer than 2 weeks, just because Gohan showed him the advanced versions of it, but Trunks wanted to see if there was any more power he could tap into. So he was getting more and more in tune with more and more in tune with his power, and trying to see if there's a extended version beyond Super Saiyan 2 or something like that. He tried it for about 2 weeks just to see if he could do it. Now, I'm not saying, he just skipped, he got Super Saiyan 2 and then it was easy or something, but maybe he could tap into it for a brief moment. If you bear with me here, with all the training that they did do, and I want to say it was about a year or two in total of overall training, and Gohan, helping Trunks get the basis of turning Super Saiyan on and off. I think that this wouldn't be too far of a stretch to say that Trunks may be able to at least understand it or something like that. But the main point that I'm just trying to get to is Trunks wanted to see if there was some advanced application of it or something unique. But after he did what he did, he realized, he was like, okay, this isn't probably the path that I need to go on. I might not be able to follow in Master Gohan's footsteps and try to, level it up. But I mean, he wasn't being arrogant about it neither. He was like, to be fair, Master Gohan's been fighting longer than I've been alive. And with that being said, and that being the case in point, he's like, okay, well, simply put, he just started training hard, using basically the remainder of the 2 weeks he had left, and then maybe about 2-ish months or so, training on complete mastery over the Super Saiyan form, so he could be Gohan and have that full control over it. And he's learning, he's working on his moves and trying to make up moves and stuff like that. He was making one move where he'll shoot a ki blast, and then when he shoots that, he'll immediately dash to a different location. He'll do some hand signs that look kind of cool, and then shoot out a projectile. While they're distracted with all of this, he'll come through with his ki blade and start slashing them up if he doesn't have a sword. He was like, yeah, I think that'd be nice. And so it'd be something around that point in time, okay? So Trunks is training rigorously on this, and he's just trying to keep, he's not even trying to keep his ki in his body like Gohan was, because that wouldn't really make sense, because he's just focusing on mastery and not trying to control his anger and rage. Because Trunks might have gotten angry or something like that, but I don't really, how do I put this? It was never really shown Trunks to have a rage boost, even though he was never written that way. And Gohan technically was written that way, and there was a lot of conflicts at the time of Gohan being written. But and I also think that Trunks in canon was technically a lot more calmer and a lot more reasoned thinking, especially by the time he got older. Because I mean, at that fucking point in time, your master died, you're the only survivor. He did do a lot of brash things, but I mean, after a certain point, he's like, all right, let me calm this shit down for real. I'm bugging, I'm off the perks, I don't know. But with that being said, he didn't have to focus on keeping his massive anger in check. So he just focused on ki control and getting used to, using high level attacks without depleting his ki. It's like an off-brand spirit fusion, if you may. So with that being said, that would explain most of Trunks' time. He's just sitting here trying to make different moves and trying to do different stuff like that, right? While Gohan, on the other hand, is like in this really deep section. Yamcha actually left a lot of markings, which don't ask how he did it, but he left a lot of markings on how far he went, and Gohan decided to take it up a notch since he is the next generation and go a bit further than this, okay? So he went a bit, a good bit further than this, and then he made his own markings. Don't ask me how. And then Gohan decided to start training. He powered up his Super Saiyan, which is like in its deactivated form, and then him powering up, which it's not as cool looking. It's just like his hair doesn't really spike up or anything. Just you see the aura, and you can sense there's more power in the sort of sense. So Gohan's like, all right. He starts getting his light warm up, and he's like, all right, this is a little too easy. I need a little more of a challenge. Him cocks back that one arm that he has, and he's just like, boom, power just starts to rise. The area around him starts to shake. The ice itself starts to break. He thinks about you, and as he's powering up, it all happens so slowly. His dad dying, Piccolo dying, Krillin dying, and then Yamcha dying. And then it's like a brief flash of when he was a teenager, when he first won Super Saiyan 2. And then he takes his typical stance, but with one arm. Or it's like a Yamcha stance, but slightly modified, because it's the opposite arm. So like, let's say if he had his left arm back and his right arm forward, Yamcha would have that right arm forward, and Gohan would have the other hand back, if you know what I mean. Something like that. Now that would be the best way I could explain it, but I digress. So basically, they got the hands, and he takes the stance and he begins to train. He's trying to get used to the Super Saiyan 2. Eventually, he'll make it his base form, but he's right now, he's treating it more like it's just regular Super Saiyan, if you know what I mean. So he's getting used to it, and for the most part, his training's going dummy easy. Because he's able to let his anger out, but he doesn't, every time he tries to, he gets calm, and his energy starts to feel all weird, but we won't mind these minor details. So anyways, this would pretty much be the sum of their training, because it's not really too much that happens. Like, they got so much room. Gohan actually has training and knows how to teach people because he's been taught. Trunks has been taught and saved a lot of time, so Trunks' gains are going to be impressive. So then they spend three months out of the 4 months, if I recall correctly, training something devious together, and showing the fruits of the training, which, I mean, it's going to be about the same here. They're just getting dumb strong. This is literally all that's happening. So your boy Gohan and Trunks do that. Boom, boom, boom. Good hands, good hands, good hands. And boom, he's like, so what's your progress on Super Saiyan 2? Trunks is like, I'm being realistic. I don't think I'm going to be able to go Super Saiyan 2, but I can go extended. Even though this isn't what they would be calling it, they'd probably be calling it like 0.5 or something, because that's what Yamcha called it. So Gohan was like, I might as well just call it that. But I'm just saying this for the sake of simplicity. Anyways, so he's like, I'm able to go Ascended Super Saiyan, but that's about it. And got to the point where it's not too taxing, but the extended muscle mass doesn't... I'm not fucking with it, all right? He's like, I don't really like you like that. It's all right, okay? I can kind of chill out for a little bit, but he not feeling it. He preferred to be in that master state, because Trunks was like, it's more about a marathon than a sprint, and he was laughing because Yamcha said the same thing or some shit. And he was like, well, yeah, you're right, basically, buddy. This is why I made sure to master my Super Saiyan and, keep it in check. To make sure my emotions don't get the best of me, because I was a hothead in my younger days. And then they finish off that last month just with some good old sparring. Gohan goes out a little bit further than he really should have, but then he says, you know what, Yamcha was talking about red hair or something one time. I don't know what that was about. So Gohan does something he hasn't done in a while and gets angry. he gets angry for about 5 minutes straight. And I mean, he just is angry. He keeps building up. He's just getting angrier and angrier. And then he exhales. The second he exhales, he inhales and he calms himself down instantaneously. And with that, as he's calming himself down, he's keeping all his ki in his body, because mentally he's thinking about all his anger leaking out, but he's actually mistaking that for his ki. And then for a very brief moment, a shiny, bright, red, fiery light shines, and Trunks sees it all the way back at where he's at. He's like, I wonder what Gohan's doing. And then Gohan just stops and exhales. What was that? Was this what Yamcha was talking about? No, that's impossible. That, I felt weird, but I don't know. That was way too difficult. But all he's thinking about right now is the fact that it's all he's thinking about is the simple fact that it was he got angry and he has to keep himself in check, and you know, he has to do all stuff like this. But we know something different. Catch y'all later.